Cuss paddles. So lately we've had a lot of people ask us about our paddles and what's the difference between the Retro series and the Heritage series, what's the difference between the 87 and the 77. So I thought I'd take a couple minutes, shoot a quick video and give you a little bit of insight into our paddles. So first off, let's talk about the construction of our paddles. Our paddles are constructed using a polypropylene honeycomb core. We then add a layer or two of a composite material, and then we run our natural wood plane surface. The natural wood plane surface gives the paddle a unique feel. Each paddle plays just a little bit differently depending on the wood, and it adds a considerable amount of strength to the paddle itself. Believe it or not, probably more so than the actual composite underneath. The wood is very strong, and it gives it a really nice look. I'm a wood guy, have been pretty much all my life, and I just love the natural beauty of wood, so we use a lot of it. So at this point in time, we run 2 to 3 different types of wood in our paddles. We run a cherry wood, we run an ash, and we run a maple. I know it doesn't look like maple, but trust me, it's maple underneath that. So that is the difference, I guess, in our 3 woods. And the number, the first number in the model stands for what type of wood that is. So if you see an 8 there, that's a cherry wood. If you see a 7, that's a maple. If you see a 6, that's the ash. We also run 3 to 4 different shapes on our paddles. At the time we're putting this video together, we basically have 3 different shapes in our paddles. We have a traditional 5 series type shape. We then have a 7 series type shape, which is a little bit longer, a little bit wider, and of course we have our teardrop shape. Each has its own particular plane characteristic and a reason for that particular shape. So let's go through it. What I call our 5 series shape is it's the original shape that we started with back in 2000, 2001. It was our original shape, and it's a little bit smaller than a traditional paddle. A lot of that was to keep the weight down in the paddle because we wanted to make sure all our paddles came in under 8 ounces. And we cater mostly to players in that sort of beginner, intermediate, early advanced. And mostly, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole our product, but a lot of the people that play our paddles are older and they don't like that additional weight. So once you get over 8 ounces, for us, that's a really heavy paddle. You know what, if you're in your 30s and you're out there banging a ball around, that's a great weight for you. But for 90% of our market, we want a lighter paddle. 7.6, 7.7, 7.8. That's kind of our sweet spot for our paddles. So anyway, we shaped this particular paddle to come in under that at that weight range. It's a nice paddle. It's got a nice size sweet spot. It's a very agile paddle, easy to play. It runs a 4 3/4 inch handle, so it's not a super long handle, but it's not a super short handle. It's a very comfortable handle, and then roughly about a 4 1/8 inch circumference on it. So super nice paddle to play, especially if you're a beginner, intermediate. I guess you could play it as an advanced, although most people will probably migrate to our Heritage series, which is carbon fiber, but great place to start. And it's a beautiful looking paddle with the natural cherry wood on it. It's available in the 85 series as well as the 65 series, which is our ash. Same shape. The ash comes in a little bit heavier. The ash will come in at, say, 7.8 ounces. These will come in at 7.6 ounces usually. So the next paddle we sort of started working on was, I wanted something that was a little bit faster and a little more agile. I wasn't concerned about the weight, and we came up with this sort of a teardrop shape. We were fine and played with a whole bunch of different sizes and variations on this, and every time we went out to play it, we always came back to this one. We had bigger versions of it, where they were a little bit wider, a little bit longer, but this one is what we settled on, and it's a really nice paddle to play. It's very fast, it's very agile. If you play with a lot of wrist, it's really easy on the wrist because it's so light. And on this particular paddle, the sweet spot is more towards the head. It's sort of shifted up a little bit, and it's not as generous as something like our 65 series or even our 87 series. But because when you come through the ball, in theory anyway, your head speed is just a little bit faster at the outer perimeter of your paddle, that sweet spot generates a ton of power. So if you're accurate in your shots and you're hitting that sweet spot, you're going to generate the power with this and get the added advantage of the agility of the paddle. These run a 5¼ inch handle, so it's a nice long handle. For those that like to do a two-handed backhand, you've got lots of room to get on there. And for those that like to throw out and use the end of their paddle for reach shots, it's great for doing that. This one is the fiberglass version. We also do it in a carbon fiber version in our Heritage series, which is our Heritage 75. Very nice paddle. It plays similar to this one, except this has got more pop to it, like all our fiberglass paddles. This one is the 75 series in the Heritage. Tends to be a little stiffer plane. It's a good control paddle. You can still generate great power with it, especially if you're a power hitter. It's great for that. But if you're not a huge hitter and you want something with a little bit more power, the 86 is great for that. So the next paddle we developed is the 87 series or the 7 series. This is an elongated version. It's about 16½ inches long by 7¼ inches wide. It's got a really nice sweet spot and it's a really super comfortable paddle to play. The cherry wood by nature gives these paddles a soft feel and make them very comfortable to play. It's got a lot of pop to it. I find playing it is great for resets. It's great for dinking at the net. And when I want to drive the ball, it's got a lot of power to it and the ball comes off pretty quick. It's very nice that way. Is it as accurate as the 87? I don't think so. It could be just me, but I find great power, nice for resets, got a super nice soft feel to it. It runs a 5 1/8 inch handle, so it's a little bit shorter than the 75, but still gives you lots of room, especially if you got a big hand. Two-handed backhand, maybe, I guess you could probably get away with it. Very nice paddle to play, great for resets, dinking at the net, and lots of pop. The 75 or the 77 is our carbon fiber version of the 87. This has got a lot of control to it. This is a nice paddle if you are working on precision and accuracy. You can still drive the ball and slam the ball or and generate great power with it, but I find it plays a little stiffer than the 87, and I find it's great for the beginning of my game. So if I'm playing for 2 or 3 hours, I'll probably start with this paddle, and then I may end up going back to this one for the rest of the last half hour or hour of my game. But this is a really nice paddle. I like playing this because it's got nice. It's great for dinking. It's good for resets. It's got lots of power to it, and I find I have to hit it a little bit harder, but I find it's got the accuracy sometimes I need in my shot, especially if I'm going down a sideline or trying for a back corner. Both are great paddles to play. It comes down to preference. The carbon fiber under this one tends to spread the impact of the ball out a little bit more, so it's a little bit soft, a little bit less poppy, and you'll find that the ball doesn't come off it quite as quick. But super nice paddle. I really like it for, like I say, the beginning part of my game when I'm, maybe a little bit more aggressive. As the day goes on, I get a little more relaxed or a little more worn out. Sometimes I'll go back to this, but both are great sweet spot, super nice paddle. The carbon fiber definitely plays different from the fiberglass. Two very, very different types of paddles. These are great for anywhere, really, honestly, beginner, intermediate, advanced. These are an excellent paddle for just about anybody, and definitely a go-to. So just one other quick thing on our paddles. You'll notice our handles are reasonably square. Like when you put a paddle in your hand, it's pretty comfortable. And the reason we go to more of a square handle is I like to be able to adjust my paddle when I'm playing. And not just in 90-degree increments, but maybe 15-degree increments. It just depends on my shot and where I think the paddle face needs to go. Sometimes you get a paddle handle and it's a little too wide, or it's a little wide, and it kind of locks that paddle into maybe like an uncomfortable position for a lot of shots. You're forced to hold it in a certain way. With our grip, it really doesn't matter where you hold that paddle. It's comfortable in the palm, and it locks into your palm. So you got the confidence, no matter how you adjust the paddle in your hand, you've got the confidence to know you can get the angle you need on that paddle face to get the ball where you want it. So really nice grip on these. I really like it. A lot of people comment and that they really are impressed with the grip, the shape, and the comfort of it. So there you go. So that's kind of an overview on our paddles. You've got basically 3 shapes: traditional, teardrop, and then our elongated. You've got 2 series: the heritage, which is carbon fiber, and you've got the retro series, which is fiberglass, and then you've got the 3 different woods: cherry wood, ash, and maple. So there you go. Hope that helps. And you can always drop us an email if you've got questions, or you can give us a call. We're always happy to talk paddles, and I hope to see you on the court sometime soon with a new Brickhouse paddle. Thanks for watching.